because can you guys see that stream
Yeah.
Yes.
and hear me all right? Okay, good. So there's basically 3 here. So you can see swap TEC tokens for AGAVE, earn interest on XDAI, and allow TEC to be lent and borrowed. And so of these 3, I would say these top 2 are really what we should debate right now, because this bottom one, isn't really technically validated. So if it was ever to come onto the table, it would be in like the mid to long term. So probably not something we need to spend time debating right now. And I think I said this, I don't know if you guys caught it when I caught it, but a lot of this is contingent on the fact that we do make a buy-in into the bonding curve. So just keep that in mind that, there's a couple hoops that we have to follow beforehand before we can execute some of this stuff. And so I don't know if you had a different idea, Zepti, but I thought we could just start at the top and maybe spend some time looking at it piece by piece and open up the floor for discussion.
Yeah, I was thinking almost like the same. Do a little bit of explaining to everyone to make sure like they understand how this proposal is going, and then answer the questions you typed there. And yeah, the intention was, for example, we asked Santi, and then what Santi would do, and like put the everyone in the spot. Like, okay, this is your money. You need to take a decision, and yeah, what would you do if the power of decision was 100% yours, and then then we know, like, maybe some people is like, okay, I would stay quiet and do nothing, and that's valuable information.
Cool. So just to give some context here, if you haven't read the post, like I said before, we had a meeting with AGAVE last week. We threw a couple ideas around, and really we came up with consolidated proposals. So this one basically would assume that we make the buy-in to our bonding curve, we acquire a bunch of TEC, and then we would swap a portion of that TEC for AGAVE tokens. AGAVE, similar to TEC, will have governance power. And some of the main discussion was whether how much do we buy, how much do we swap, and would this be used as a liquidity pool token, or would we use this for governance, in each other's DAOs, or any other possibilities that maybe we didn't think about in this forum post. So we can get the ball rolling. I don't know if anyone has a strong opinion they want to share, or any questions related to this.
I would say that my only concern is the amount of tokens we decide to exchange. I think it should be small to start off with, and if we find that we build trust along the way as they're developing, then we can incrementally increase our relationship after that. But I do think like going 200K right out the gate is not a very prudent thing to do.
That's a really great point.
I think we should consider what are the benefits or the outcome that we expect from every one of those options, and even others that may come in the future. To me, right now, what it comes to my mind is the best yield we can get from that amount of money that we have sitting on the cage. All right, I'm not reached the point where I want to think of that amount of money strategically. And that's what I think this first option would be, more than just getting or trying to get some money out of the XDAI the wrap XDAI that we have sitting on the multisig or whatever it's sitting. I don't know. So to me, there's linked to any proposal. There should be why do we think this is interesting for? And I may be missing something here on AGAVE. All right, but and that's what really should lead to the discussion or the voting, or if it was my money, as Zepti was saying, I am I thinking on getting the best amount of money out of this piece of money of that I have sitting on the bank, or I want to join some strategic partnership that may be interesting for myself if I'm thinking about my money, or for TEC if I'm thinking about TEC, because it may bring me to governing something that may be interesting for TEC, and I'm not sure I'm catching absolutely all the potential benefits that having some agave tokens, which would lead us to some, decisions, governance decisions. I'm not sure that I catch everything or all the potential that we can have for that, at least not right now. And on top of that, I would be very, very careful with the security. I wouldn't feel comfortable jumping into a partnership with a service that has not had its code validated yet.
Yeah, totally agree. One thing I want to say, like, so far what's going on the discussion on the forum, like the benefits of doing this swap would be like having liquidity if we have our token transferable outside the bonding curve, and then it also would be easier to list our token on CoinGecko, and then also it's a governance discussion we should have, like the LPs we have there, like, are meant to be only providing liquidity, or do we want to strengthen relationships and we will have governing powers on Agave and let them have governing power on our side, or just lock those tokens? And then the fees generated on the LP tokens, the only thing they would do, they would constantly burn TC and Agave, so the token would be more valuable during the time. But yeah, and then the basically, like, the questions we should be asking is like, how much do we want to put there? Do we want to put something? Maybe not. When should we exchange? Like, for us, the token is when it's going to be released. We don't know our price. When it goes to the market, it could go 10x whatever. So if we put very early, we would be doing a bad deal maybe. So yeah, how long should we wait before adding liquidity? And yeah, also talk about governance. Yeah, I don't know.
So I just want to say one thing real quick. I think that in order to really have a constructive debate around this, we need to really understand what our goals are with this partnership, and really articulating that as a whole. I think we all have different intentions around it, but coming together to collectively establish what do we want to see out of this. Do we want to be able to provide liquidity for our token? Do we want to seize the opportunity to make as much money as we can early on? Like, what is it we're trying to accomplish?
I also think that it would be very important to have like a joint document where like all this is written as a project. And yeah, maybe I think we are pioneering DAO to DAO collaborations, and in the real world we have like a lot of troubles around like legal issues. And like, I don't know that I understand that here it's not the same legality, but we should keep things formal, and maybe have like a joint venture agreement where both parts like say what are they going to give, and they like commit to certain behaviors for the benefit of both. I think that we should maybe write a joint document with them, and maybe, I don't know, have a group to work on that. Also, maybe if something bad happens, we have how to defend ourselves. If, I don't know, like if something bad happens. And I think that it's important to have like some formality, and whatever conflict that we can prevent by having clear boundaries and clear expectations, all that is gain.
I think that's a great point, and really what we want to do now is figure out like exactly what Nate says, like what do we care about with this proposal, and once we decide from our end, concretely what do we expect from this relationship, then we can start building something together with them that's more formal. And there was some discussion, I think, on the forum about creating Celeste agreements. So I think that would give some on-chain legitimacy to any sort of rules that either of us expects.
I think the Celeste agreements were for if we get like a lot of agave, like it's on the other proposal. This one, especially like if we want to get very little amount of money, like we don't need an agreement for 10K or 20K or whatever.
Can I ask a question? Why agave?
Yeah, that's also what I wanted to point out. I mean, this discussion that we're having with Agave, we could be having it with many other, protocols, liquidity services out there on other blockchains, and that would bring another variable to the table, which would be how many total lock value is on other blockchains compared to the one that is in XDAI, and do we want to go for that or not? To me, there's a lot of implications, economical implications, that many of us are unable to be able to see how the outcome may be right now. And although I see opportunities, I'm not saying I don't like the idea of providing liquidity to create a market parallel to the bonding curve, but we don't know how that is what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be positive or negative to the final value of the token. So to me, there's like three or at least 2 or 3 options I can see on this proposal. One of them is, do we do anything with the amount of money that we have to try to get something out of it? Okay, the other day I was mentioning, even on XDAI, there's curve that it's giving about 25% yield on the 3 stablecoin liquidity pool if we don't even want to move from XDAI. But there's others like Terra Networks is giving 20% and some others. So that would be one option. Do we work on trying to figure out options to get some yield out of the money sitting on our vault? That's one option. Another option is, do we look forward trying to create a liquidity pool to offer people to be able to get TEC tokens and get the benefits of that, and what are the implications and what the implications may be for that? And I would open up the door to Agave or any other provider. I know we are close to Agave, and that's probably a benefit. But on the other side, if we're thinking about a big chunk of money jumping in, probably XDAI is not the best blockchain because it doesn't have a lot of money on it. So we should analyze every single one of those and break it, because it's kind of hard to mix one and the other. To me, they are completely different things.
I think staying on XDAI is beneficial for us, like, or leave the whole project to another chain. Like if we are providing, I think like if every time if we are buying to our bonding curve and the money, the reserve or the common pool, I don't know which money we wanna put on yield farming. But if every time we wanna ask for this money, we need to breach it, I think that would be annoying, and maybe I would, at least for the beginning, stay on XDAI, or maybe move the whole project to another network since we still didn't launch. I don't know if that's possible. Like, we should talk with the devs, but I
think that's outside of the scope to move the whole thing to another network. I think the main principle is that, like, with this, we're trying to strengthen the network and adhere more adoption by creating more DAO connections.
But that's fine, even if we stay on XDAI. Even if we stay on XDAI, because it's whatever, it's strategically what we want. We have Sushi, we have Curve, we have Agave, and probably a few more that may be coming in the future. So it's a decision that we should consider, or at least we should analyze every single choice before deciding. If I understand Agave is on its die, it's a garden or will be a garden, and it's like, we are almost brothers, and that's probably our priority, and I like it. But we have to analyze all the options out there, not just Agave, because for any of the two things that we're looking for, which is getting some yield out of our money, or providing liquidity to offer a market with our tokens, both or all of those can offer that. I know that Sushi is just offering some of their liquidity pools, offering stake plus Sushi on as compensation. So it's something they're used to. It's not new for them, and that could be an option. I probably like much more Agave than Sushi, but that's a personal decision, and we have to look at the business, if you want to call it a business decision, not the personal one.
Yeah. I'd like to spend maybe another 10 minutes on this and move to the other one. If we could just hear from some other people, just going around in order. Chewy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, it was something pretty quick. It's just regarding governance. I feel that it might be like something complicated if we all as a community want to like support and participate in the governance of another community. I don't feel that might be like as a viable or attractive option. However, I was wondering if maybe participating in an abstain proposal could be an option, since this would strengthen the conviction voting of each of the gardens involved, and also regarding who gets the benefits of either like a liquidity pool or any kind of yield. I feel that this could be directed for the funding pool as well, because in a way it covers a similar function than what the augmented funding curve is doing. So if we could set this like as a mechanism, let's say, to have more funding for our own proposals, I feel that, at least for me, it's pretty clear that the benefits should go to our funding pool. And I do agree that this can all be handled with a multi-sig. Stewards are a good option for this. But yeah, these are some of my opinions on these matters.
Thanks. Moving down, Livy, I haven't heard much from you. Do you got any ideas?
I think I have questions. Is there a reason? I mean, obviously, because it would be a better price, but could this be done at a later stage? Like, could we still swap TEC tokens for AGAVE tokens without needing to be this first, like, buying into the bonding curve?
Yeah, and that was actually something I think Green Hornet brought up, that it would be kind of a loss for us to do it right away, because there's a good chance that the token value will go up quite a bit in the early stages. So we could wait, we could do it at any time, really. It's just earmarking that. If that answers the question.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, sorry. That sounds good, because then we could use the bonding curve for like more internal things, like if we used for the reward systems, for example, we would be benefiting directly the community. And then if this was done at a later stage, it would also benefit the community, because both tokens would be a little bit more mature.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Metaverde.
I feel like it's a little soon, and Agave's and this is not dissing on them at all. I love the people and all of that, but they've taken this was supposed to get launched in May, right? And now it's like September, and it just got launched. And the other thing is that we did that I did the Hack Money hackathon with Kyle Star Garden Penguin and Luxumbra ETH, and I'm using the royal we here. Kyle and Penguin put together a liquidation aggregator for DAOs, where like all the DAOs could put in their community tokens, and it would. I don't want to go to the big deets here, but basically what I'm trying to say is that there is got to be more than one project developing really next level DAO liquidation aggregators, and I feel like jumping into Agave. Like if we don't go in with a large amount, then that's going to risk like the token completely losing value if people are trying to sell it, and if we go in with a large amount, it's a huge risk. And I really think that we should wait and see, because I think there's going to be other options coming out. And I think that I agree that both the R token and the Agave token need to stabilize and try to find a value.
Yeah, those are really great points. I will say, like, weren't we supposed to launch our commons back in December or something like that? You know, everything ends up taking way longer.
Everything ends up taking longer, but we're not a DeFi protocol, right?
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and you know, we're not dealing with other people's money, and I feel like I don't think they're irresponsible, but I think that that it's a lot of money to be giving to somebody who's having. I'm just not going to say anymore, but I love Agave, but I don't think this is a good move right now.
Okay, cool. To be considered, Mount Manu, would you like to add anything?
No, not at this point.
Cool. And Zerate, I haven't heard much from you. Do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I have just a couple of words. I think Santigs raised a good point. Like I'm sure that everybody has their own biases regarding this collab, like because we are all involved either here or there or both communities. So yeah, but I think he raised an important point about Terra and that 20% API. So that's all.
Cool. Thank you. I'll just say one thing here is, this is just hopefully the first proposal of many. And, why Agave? It's just because, this is the first one, hopefully, of many different DAOs that we'll reach out to and have partnerships with. So, if you guys have somebody in mind, like make the connection, see what's feasible, and, let's explore everything that's possible for the TEC.
I think I have one in my mind, but yeah, it would be. Sorry if I didn't share this before. It would be nice to start out being Agave being built the way it was, and the TAC being. I think that's a natural collaboration, but yeah, I can't speak about the economic implications of it or other stuff. But as sentiment wise, that would be awesome to be a kid.
Cool. Does anyone have any final comments on this particular proposal before we swap to the next one?
Just a quick mention. I was working with Solar from One Hive and Mokmir from XDAI in a proposal for Mexican exchange. They were interested in the XDAI communities and different governance tokens, including like Honey, Agave, and eventually the TEC. Also, when I mentioned this to Griff, he mentioned the X node token. So I'm including this in like an initial pitch for them, and I just had a call with Andrew and Mokmir from AGAVE last Friday. So we worked on a document. I'll send it to you, Mitch, if you want to give us some feedback. And anybody that is interested in this, I can also send it to you for any feedback.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to have a look at it. Any other last thoughts on this one? Great. So then the other